basic precautions which can be used to prevent the spread of coronavirus?
Well, there are a good number of precautions to be taken, but one thing should be kept in mind that all of them should be taken at one time. Just like social distancing is very, very important, but at the same time, you'll have to wear a mask at the time of social distancing. You'll have to keep watch over the hand hygiene, cough etiquettes, not to spit in the public, not to spit on the floor, in fact, and you should follow all of them. They are all the basics one, and if you add to this, you can say that you are not to supposed to hug anybody, you are supposed to greet with the namaste, you are not to shake hands, you are not to speak while eating. These are all the precautions to be taken.
How to sanitize fruits and vegetables?
The best way is, first of all, whenever you buy fruits and vegetables, better order them online, better deliver them outside your house. Then you ideally keep them aside for 2 hours, and then for 30 minutes you use baking soda with water, keep them for 30 minutes, and then you mop up with a dry cloth, and then you can refrigerate it. This is the ideal way how to use vegetables and fruits right now.
What about things like onions or dry products? They cannot be put in water, suppose any products.
Yeah, I think just keeping them aside for 72 hours is the best way. For the vegetables which you cannot use any kind of water or soap or anything, okay, or baking water also, then the best is keep them aside for 72 hours.
Which are the things most likely to be carrying the virus?
Well, most important thing is you should remember your mouth, nose and hands are the most important things which carry the virus. Rest of the things like the surfaces and are all secondary. So you should keep these things in mind, that I should use cough etiquettes, I should use hand hygiene, and I should cover my mouth and nose when I am in public.
How to receive home delivery of grocery products?
Again, order online, deliver them outside the house, then ideally keep it aside for 72 hours, and if within 72 hours you have to use it, use sanitizers to clean them if they are of plastic made of.
Of all the precautions, which is the most important precaution one must keep?
Well, each one of them is important, but if you want me to figure out one, then I'll say social distancing is the most important one. But you should remember that while maintaining social distances, obviously you should use mask, you should follow cough etiquette, you should use hand hygiene, yes. But if you want to figure me out one, social distancing is the one.
Sir, which mask to wear and what is the correct way to wear it, and how should we reuse different kind of masks?
The most important thing is the size of the mask is very, very important, because if you have an N95 mask which is either smaller or bigger than your face, it is not going to be protective. So it should be a facial seal that is the most important thing. It is not the quality of the mask which is more important. And you should remember that it is the droplets which are most causing this spread, and even a homemade mask is good enough against the droplets. So use proper size masks, you sanitize the masks. Just like an N95 mask is a disposable mask, you can reuse them provided you use them in a proper way. Second thing, a triple layer surgical mask after 8 hours of its use is of no use, you have to throw it away. But the advantage of an homemade mask is that you can easily sterilize them, sanitize them, and then use them. So I think it is not the quality of the mask, it is the fitting of the mask is more important, and the continuation use of that. It's not that you just use for 15 minutes and after that, okay, you lift it down or you pull it down or lift it up. No, that's not the thing. So continuation use of the mask is more important than the quality, and obviously the size does matter.
So correct way of wearing the mask, covering which all parts, if you can?
Ideally, and must actually I should say. It is both mouth and nose should be covered, and the minimum I should say leakage of the air should be there. Practically if you use an N95 mask, if you don't do the test actually, that fitting test, it's of no use, because you have to, there is a clip above the N95 mask, so you have to just blow the air when after wearing the mask and see where is the leakage. If the leakage is from above, you will have to squeeze this. If the leakage is from side, you will have to adjust the head strings.
Just one more question for general public, which mask they should use? For general public, for their day-to-day activities like going to office or going to a grocery store, which mask they should use?
I think homemade mask is good enough for general public. Obviously, if they are visiting a hospital, then I'll say a triple layer surgical mask they should wear it. But in public, I think a homemade mask which is clean, because what happens right now is that people are using N95 mask, but they are using it daily. So it is going to be more harmful at times. So a better clean homemade mask is better for general public.
Sometimes to ensure, I will say, more protection, people use one mask over the other. Would you?
Well, at times it is justified, they are justified. Just like if they are Chinese style mask, that means it's an ear elastic mask. Ear elastic mask have a facial seal which is weaker than the head elastic mask. So ideally if you are using a Chinese N95, that is KN95, then obviously you should wear either a triple layer surgical mask over it or even a homemade mask over it, so that the facial seal is there. And second thing, if you are using a valved mask, then it becomes compulsory to use a triple layer surgical mask or a homemade mask over the valved mask. Ideally, valved mask should not be worn. But obviously, if you have purchased it and you want to use it, then the best way is use a valved mask, then above it use a triple layer surgical mask or a homemade mask, so that at least both sides it gives protection. Otherwise, valved mask gives protection just to the person who wears it, but the people around them, they are exposed to the person who is wearing it. So if you use a triple layer surgical mask, even the air which is coming out of the mask gets filtered.
So just to summarize, for general public dealing for day-to-day activities, simple homemade cotton mask covering face and mouth with headbands is the ideal.
Is the ideal, I think, because if you can adjust it, if it's a head string, you can adjust it, and you can make the shape of the mask, you can just alter it according to your fittings.
So which is the best way to sanitize our hands?
There are actually two methods. First is soap and water, and another is using 70% alcohol sanitizer. Soap and water is better. It is effective, it is not allergic, and you can use it even when the hands are soiled, and it can be used for all ages also. That is the advantage of soap and water. The only condition or a prerequisite is that you should use at least 20 seconds to spend 20 seconds with soap and the foam to get rid of this virus.
And what about the 70% alcohol sanitizer, 70% alcohol containing sanitizer? When should we use that?
If you are in a situation that soap and water is not available, then only use 70% alcohol containing sanitizer. One thing. Second thing, whenever you use 70% alcohol and sanitizer, make sure that immediately after use, you do not eat, you do not use gas stove, or you do not use even electrical appliances. And if your hands are visibly soiled, do not use 70% alcohol, it is not going to be effective. And another thing, do not use alcohol sanitizer which contains more percentage of alcohol also. It is not effective. Supposedly, I say 90% alcohol containing sanitizers are not effective against the virus. 70% is good enough, and you should use only that.
So how frequently should we sanitize? And what all are the occasions we should be careful that we have to sanitize our hands?
It depends. First of all, if you are a healthcare professional or you are at home. At home, you can use it before eating, before and after using the toilet, and I think before you cleaning the surfaces, after cleaning the surfaces, you use it. You should use hand hygiene properly. And for healthcare professionals, okay, obviously if you are at work, obviously before wearing the mask, before wearing the PPE kit, after removing the PPE kit, after removing the mask, and once you land up in your house, obviously you sanitize your hands before you touch anything else.
So one more question, significance of wearing gloves for general public. Should we be wearing that or not?
I don't think so. They should be wearing gloves for protection, because hands you can clean it with soap and water. Soap you may not be able to clean it, one thing. And second thing, with the hot and humid climate which we have in India, wearing gloves, that means obviously it's going to be more soiled. So personally I feel for general public, gloves should not be used. Obviously they should be used only when you are cleaning surfaces, yes, you use them. But in general, just wearing it gives you protection? No, it can harm you.
Or even dealing with a quarantine, home quarantine patient,
yes.
then they should wear it.
Yes. One person is at, if suppose somebody at home is home quarantine for a COVID positive situation, then obviously cleaning his surface or his room, obviously use a disposable gloves. And the most important thing is that even removal of gloves is very, very important. You have to remove one glove and cover the other glove and then throw it away in the dustbin.
So for general public, if they are not wearing gloves everywhere while using their phones or anything, it's okay.
It's better. It's better not to use gloves. Obviously for healthcare professionals, yes, all the indications change.
Sometimes it is advised that even after using sanitizer, because the debris of say dead bacteria or say the virus, they are still on your hands. So it is ideal to wash your hands with soap and water even after using sanitizer.
If you are visibly soiled, if you have visibly soiled hands, do not use sanitizer. And what mistake people do also is that they use soap and water, and with wet hands they use sanitizer. That is also not ideal. First of all, even before using the sanitizer, your hands should be dry, and you have to rub with the sanitizer till the hands are dry. Then only your sanitizer is effective. And mind well, any perfumed sanitizer, don't buy it, because obviously it is going to contain less percentage of alcohol than the recommended 70%.
So as sometimes advised, it is not necessary to wash your hands with soap and water, say after obviously using sanitizer.
No, it's not. As such, 70% alcohol is effective. No need of using soap and water, especially after using properly. If you properly sanitize your hands with 70% alcohol containing sanitizer, no need of using soap and water after that.
What are the risks and precautions for pregnant lady?
As such, pregnancy does not increase the chances of getting the virus and the complications also. One thing. Obviously, all precautions to be taken, all prenatal checkups to be done, yes, it has to be done.
Is there any prophylactic medication for corona that can be taken?
Yes, there is one medication called hydroxychloroquine, which is effective if used in a proper way, and pre-exposure prophylaxis is the only indication which I will recommend. I will recommend only for healthcare workers who are exposed to, the quantum of exposure is more, the recurrent exposure is there, and most important thing is it has to be taken under the guidance of a physician or a cardiologist, and some drug interactions have to be kept in mind before starting this drug. So healthcare workers should be taking this medicine as per recommended dose, and if you are having cardiomyopathies, rhythm disturbances, or G6PD deficiency, or if you are on certain drugs like tacrolimus and cyclosporin, please keep a watch on the ECG and then only start the drug.
How to increase immunity? Is there any role of multivitamins?
Well, how to improve immunity is very important question which you have asked, okay? And I believe that just eating good food alone is not good enough. There are other factors also, like proper sleep, proper mental health, and other things like to be away from COVID media also is one of the immune booster, I suppose, because if you are constantly in touch with, okay, corona, that scare itself can cause panic. So I think balanced diet, exercise, sleep, mental health, and spending quality time with family members and increased family support is the best immune booster, I think, in this time.
So is there any role of any other supplementary medications with?
Well, you can use vitamins, okay, provided if you are not having a especially balanced diet. Otherwise, if you are having a balanced diet, even supplementary medications I will not suggest.
So if vitamin D is necessary, is it like you can take a sun?
There is some role of vitamin D, adequate vitamin D levels in the immunity, yes. As such, you should be taking sunlight. Some amount of sunlight is must for your bones.
And what should be that time?
As such, early morning is the best time. With keep in mind that 40% of your body should be exposed to the sunlight, because wearing a full sleeve shirt and a trouser you won't get any vitamin D. And obviously, one thing you should keep in mind, that if your shadow is longer than your height, that means you are not getting any vitamin D. So early morning with 40% of your body exposed to the sunlight is the best time.
So what about vitamin C? Regularly people are taking vitamin C, or it's being given. Does it have any role in prevention of coronavirus, or is it immunity booster, or it is okay if you don't take it?
I think organic way of acquiring vitamin C is more important. So I will say that if you are having fruits, vegetables, and that is the more important rather than gulping one vitamin C tablet.
So I think lemon
because
and oranges should
yes, it's better to have lemon juice, oranges, fruits and vegetables to acquire vitamin C, because along with vitamin C you are acquiring other vitamins also. If you are just gulping vitamin C tablet, that means only one vitamin you are taking. So I think better way is to focus on balanced diet.
Now, the sanitizers you get in the market, how do we know that which one is original and which one is fake?
Well, the recommended is that it should contain 70% alcohol. But obviously, you can just judge when you use a sanitizer. First of all, there should be some cooling feeling in your hands, one thing. Within 20 seconds of rubbing the sanitizer, it should get dry, and there should be no an artificial perfumed, it should not be artificially perfumed. This is the best way to know whether the hand sanitizer is good or bad. If it remains wet even after 30 seconds, that means that sanitizer is substandard one.
So sir, what about the role of AC? If at home and at office, should we use it, not use it? Does it predispose us to the virus, or it filters out the virus? So all these questions.
First of all, I will take this question in two separate things, at home and at office, because at home it's a single unit. A single unit AC cools only the air which is inside. So obviously, what things you should keep in mind while using AC at home is keep the temperature 25 to 30 degree. Usually the humidity is 40 to 50 degree when you are using an AC at home. But to make sure that never the humidity falls less than 40%, you can use a bucket of water inside the, you can keep a bucket of water inside the room. Second thing, you can use an exhaust fan if it's available. You can keep the ceiling fan at a very slow speed, and if there is a ventilated window, you can keep it little bit slightly open. These are the ways actually you should use a AC at home right now. Now at office, I'll say that ideally the AC should be on 2 hours before the office hours and 2 hours after the office hours are over. One thing. The adjustment of AC settings should be again 25 to 30 degrees centigrade temperature. Humidity should be 40 to 50 degrees centigrade. You should, if there is an availability of exhaust fan, yes, you should keep an exhaust fan open, ceiling fan open, window open, and if you should keep the settings of fresh air coming in inside the office to 12 cycles per hour. These are the ways we should use AC in the current times.
So during traveling vehicle, what about?
First of all, when you are in public, the moment you step out of your house, wear a proper mask. Second thing, carry a small bottle of sanitizer with you, which should be handy. Immediately after touching the surfaces, you use sanitizer. Make sure that when you are in public transport, do not sit along with a person who is having cough or who is sneezing. And after you get down to the public transport, use hand sanitizer. Make a separate, the entry and exit should be separate one. And you should maintain social distancing even while when you are in public transport.
So how about AC in a car?
AC, one thing, when you are in car, you can use AC, no problems. But make sure if you are alone, you may or may not use your mask. But when 4 of you are there, definitely use a mask. Because it's a closed environment. The car is the area is very small. There is a good number of chance that if a person is having COVID infection and he may be having asymptomatic, as such asymptomatic persons spread the infection very less, but still there is a chance. And even in there is as per the theory, actually I should say, the person is maximally infective 3 days prior to the onset of symptoms. So he may be in that incubation period, okay, he may not have the symptoms, but he is just about to be getting the symptoms. So make sure that when you travel along with somebody else in car, make sure that you use mask.
So now coming to sir, now that the monsoon has touched us and it's already started raining, so how do we differentiate between a regular flu and COVID?
As such, if you see the signs and symptoms, they are of a routine flu and a COVID-19. The symptoms are similar, just like cough, fever, running nose is present in both situations. But loss of smell and taste, which is present in almost like 30 to 50% of COVID patients, that is specific for COVID.
When does it set in? A loss of taste and the loss of...
It is just at the time you become symptomatic. It may be that you may alone have this 2 things only and not fever may come later, it is possible. Just like there is another symptom like difficulty in breathing, which is specific for COVID-19, but this symptom starts practically 7 to 8 days after the onset of other symptoms. We cannot wait 8 days to differentiate between a COVID-19 and a routine flu. So this difficulty in breathing should not be taken as a differentiating point between COVID-19 and routine flu. It is just lack of smell and taste is specific for COVID-19. More important is in the current time, COVID times, if you are having symptoms like fever, cough, better get it tested.
So I got fever today, sir, in the morning. What should I do? What should be my course of action? Should I rush to the doctor immediately, do some self-medication, wait at home, or get myself tested?
First of all, you should call your doctor. One thing, he will ask you about your symptoms and about your possible contact. If you are definitely having a contact and if you are having fever, then obviously you should be tested. But I think in the current times, just having fever and cough, yes, you should test yourself for RT-PCR. Alone fever, the doctor will rule out the other possibilities of you having the fever. If he says, okay, I'm not able to find out any other reason for your fever, he will get an RT-PCR test done for you.
So I think any health issue, we should immediately contact our doctor.
You should
and
be
then go by the
advice of the doctor.
Okay, sir. Except for fever, cough, cold, any other symptoms are there of COVID? Loss of smell and taste.
Well,
other symptoms.
I'll just let you know that 70 to 80% of the patients suffering from COVID will not have any symptoms. The most common are fever and cough, but obviously running nose, headache can be there. Even at times alone diarrhea and alone stroke can be the presenting features of COVID-19. So if you have any health issues, please contact your doctor right now, because there are many other symptoms also which can be because of COVID-19. You may not be able to just differentiate between a routine flu and a COVID-19. It's better always to consult your doctor.
I have a regular asthma. So again, I keep getting these asthma attacks. I get difficulty in breathing. But how do I know I have COVID, or is it a regular asthmatic attack?
One thing, if you are a patient of asthma, you should be knowing about your precipitating factors. Just like a change in season, you may be knowing, okay, which is the season which you develop asthma. So if it is not matching with your routine features, definitely suspect that you may be suffering from COVID. And obviously, do not stop your inhaled steroids, okay, thinking that steroids are not good to be taken right now. No, please continue your routine medications, and if you have any doubt, please contact your doctor who knows better whether it is asthma or it's just a COVID-19.
So you mentioned 70 to 80% of patients are asymptomatic currently. So why are we doing thermal scanning? And how will we prevent ourselves from these patients?
It's a very good question actually, but the importance of thermal screening is that most of the spread occurs from persons who are symptomatic. It's not that asymptomatic cannot spread it, but if you just say that more than 90% of the spread is by symptomatic persons, and fever is one of the symptoms. So I may be knowing it. One thing, that this person is having fever, so I will get it tested on that person. I can isolate that person from others, and I can instruct that you please take care of you and your family for the next, till the time you are getting a COVID test, and if it is positive, let's do it accordingly. If it is negative, so this is the importance of checking fever.
If there is a history of contact with COVID patient, what should I do?
First of all, you should know that what is a contact. One thing is that just if you pass by a person who is suffering from COVID does not mean that you are a contact. You should have spent at least 10 to 15 minutes in a closed environment to be called you as a contact, or you are a healthcare worker who is being exposed to the persons without a proper PPE kit. Yes, if these are the things, then obviously if you are a healthcare worker and if you have developed symptoms, straight away go for an RT-PCR test. But if you are not a healthcare worker, just wait for the symptoms. Do not rush to the lab to get it tested. Even if you want to get it tested, you should get it tested after 5 to 7 days of your exposure to the contact person, or you develop symptoms after your contact with the COVID positive patient. So basic is the not to panic. If in doubt, better call a doctor.
What to do if symptoms of COVID starts? If I am developing COVID-19?
If you are having symptoms of COVID, first of all, call the doctor. He will advise you whether you require an RT-PCR test or not. If he orders an RT-PCR test, he will give you in writing that you are suffering from these many symptoms and you need a COVID-19 test. You can call up the government recommended labs who can come to your place to get you tested. But do not rush to the straightaway lab. They will not test you unless you have a written prescription of a doctor.
Sir, how to home quarantine ourselves?
How to home quarantine yourself? First of all, it should be done under the guidance of a doctor. He will decide whether you are eligible for home quarantine or not. If you are diabetic, hypertensive, having ischemic heart disease, chronic kidney disease, or if you are morbidly obese or suffering from some cancer, you are not eligible for home quarantine. If you are having mild to moderate symptoms without difficulty in breathing, then only you are eligible for home quarantine. If you are having facilities, that means if you have a separate room which shared by other family members, then only you are eligible for home quarantine. At home quarantine, you should be, it's a room quarantine, you should keep in mind. It is not home quarantine. Isolation means you should be in one room for the recommended number of days as per doctor's advice. Yes, you can be served food by the family members, but only one family member, assigned family member who is not diabetic, whose age is not more than 60 years, who is physically fit, and at the time of he serving you the food, he should wear a triple layer surgical mask. At home, everybody should be using triple layer surgical mask. At no time you should be having in contact with the other family members. These are the things you should keep in mind at the time of home quarantine. If you are physically fit, only you should clean your room and your bathroom by yourself. You should not allow others to clean your room and bathroom.
Sir, you said if you are home quarantined, if COVID positive patient who is mildly symptomatic, should they use a pulse oximeter to check their saturation to know if they need hospital now?
Ideally, yes. Because in this situation of COVID-19, there is a term called happy hypoxia. That means you are short of oxygen, but you may not be symptomatic. So, if you have the facility of a pulse oximeter, please use it. And if at any times it goes less than 95% and especially 94%, then please call the doctor. It is the time that you should be shifted from home quarantine to hospital care.
Nowadays in hospital, for hospitalization, they have kept a period of 7 days, and if the patient is feeling well and afebrile, you can come back home. So after this patient comes back home, what all precautions should the patient and the family members take? Has that patient become COVID negative now? Can he start living the normal life, or still precautions needs to be taken?
Ideally, yes, precautions still to be continued, because you may be still infected. Discharge from the hospital does not mean that you have become COVID negative. You should always ask your doctor, when can I get out of my home quarantine period? Because it depends on two situations. Either the test method or a duration method. If you are just following duration method, minimum 14 days of quarantine should be there for a patient. If it is test method, then at least 2 COVID negative reports within a span of 24 hours you should get it done, and then only you can be labeled as COVID negative. So even at home quarantine, after hospital care, you should take guidance of a doctor before you come out of your home quarantine period.
If I need to visit a doctor during these corona times, what precautions do I need to take?
I'll say, sir, better use online consultation method right now. After online consultation, if the doctor says that I need to have a face-to-face consultation, then only go to his clinic or hospital. If you are going to the clinic or hospital, make sure that you use all precautionary measures. Maintain social distancing, carry a bottle of sanitizer with you, wear a triple layer surgical mask, and spend minimum time in the clinic or the hospital. These are and when coming back from hospital or clinic, take a shower.
So it should be one basis of prior appointment and exact appointment patient should be visiting, no crowding in the OPD
Yes.
should be there.
So that you can take care of your doctor also, and you can take care of you yourself also.
So what about some precautions for those who are immunocompromised patients, suppose patients who are on steroids, some kidney transplant patients or some chronic diseases like COPD or CKD, these patients, what all precautions should they take? And should these patients stop taking their immunosuppression medicines like steroids and all during this COVID times?
Supposedly, if anybody is on immunosuppressive drugs, please continue the dosage as recommended or as you were taking earlier, because if you are an organ failure patient and have undergone an organ transplant, reducing dose of steroids or other immunosuppressive drugs, you can lead to organ rejection and you will need more immunosuppression to get back on track. So without the guidance of the doctor, do not reduce your immunosuppressive drugs. Second thing, all precautions to be taken religiously. As such, immunosuppressive patients are using masks. They are in fact, I should say, better equipped or better knowledgeable because they are using all these precautions earlier, but continue them.
It goes for even chronic kidney patients, heart patients and
Actually,
lung
all
patients.
immunosuppressive patients, if they are cancer patients, chronic kidney disease patients, even ISD patients, diabetic patients, they should be taking more precautions because the chances of complications of COVID-19 are much higher in these patients and elderly patients.
How useful the Arogya Setu app?
Arogya Setu app is a good app, provided everybody uses it. One thing, you keep it on and everybody has filled up the form being intellectually honest. That means if you are having symptoms and if you do not fill up that I am not having symptoms, then obviously that app is useless. So everybody should use it. Everybody should fill up the form the way it should be filled. Obviously, it will tell you the number of cases in your surroundings, one thing. It can guide you to the nearest lab which can test you. And it can obviously tell you how safe or how at risk you are getting a COVID-19 infection. So I will recommend, yes, everybody should use it. It's a good app.
Okay, what are the mechanisms by which this coronavirus spreads to different organs of the body?
Very good question, I'll say, because it's very important to understand how does it spread. It spreads through droplets. It spreads from person to surface surface to hands and hands again to the mouth. But the most important is droplets. Whenever we speak, the particles take the form of either droplets or aerosols. If they are more than 10 microns, they are labeled as droplets. And these droplets can be transferred from one person to another, especially if the distance between the two persons are less than 2 meters. The spread, other way of spread is if a person sneezes or coughs out or while speaking, these particles or droplets come out, these droplets get settled on the surface, and if the particles or the droplets have come from an infected person, this may be carrying virus. If another person touches this surface, infected surface, and then touches his face, yes, he can carry this virus to his mouth. Because this is a virus, it will not multiply of its own unless and until it gets another host, new host. That means from one person to another, it will multiply. Of its own, it won't multiply. So if we just avoid giving the virus a shelter, it will die off.
No, but it spreads to different organs of the body.
It depends on the receptors. Actually, there are angiotensin receptors through which this receptors enters a new body. These receptors are maximally found in the nasopharynx, and they are located in lungs, kidneys, and other organs also, GI system, and through this the manifestation of this COVID-19 gets.
So, how about a COVID positive mother for breastfeeding?
COVID positive mother should breastfeed his child. It's better use an expressed milk, yes, but if this facility is not available, then you can use a barrier. You should, obviously the mother should be wearing a mask at the time of feeding. A physical barrier, maybe of simple cloth, between the mother and the kid should be there. Do not use any mask for the kid.
So I would like to even add one more thing here about vaccination. Should the kid during these COVID times?
Very important, because there are good number of vaccine preventable diseases, just like mumps, polio, DTP, and if we are not giving vaccination against these, we can land up having another pandemic because of this, and our healthcare system right now cannot handle any, especially a preventable epidemic. So I think all vaccination should be given to all kids. Obviously, government has divided into two zones, red zones and non-contagious zones. All non-contagious zones, every recommended vaccine should be given. Obviously, in a containment zone, the vaccinations at the time of birth should be given. And others, yes, too, as early as possible, the others should be taken. But obviously, in a vaccination center, the practice of social distancing, wearing masks, protection of both the healthcare workers as well as the persons who have come for vaccination should be taken.
So as far as the kid goes, their innate immunity which they get from the mother in form of breastfeeding and the vaccination immunity should be provided. We should not stop these two things because of COVID.
We should not actually. We should continue vaccination schedules as recommended.
Okay. During these COVID times, this mental health and the psychological strength is something which is most important. People get panicky quite often. So how to handle that?
Well, obviously I'll say that everybody has some sort of mental health problems. Everybody must have suffered. Even healthcare workers must have suffered, because a cough can be a simple mild cough without having any problems, and cough actually can be COVID-19. So a person having cough will obviously think about, okay, definitely I am going to get it into this. Yes, but there are ways actually which you can keep your mental health in a better frame, or a better way actually I should say. The best ways to keep your mental health in a stable situation is sleep for adequate number of hours, eat balanced diet, you should hydrate well, you should take adequate amount of liquids, take good amount of vitamin C's in the form of lemon juice, orange juice, fruits, spend quality time with family members, and be away from COVID media, because too much of corona news and you do not know which news is genuine and which is fake. So it's better to just obviously you should update yourself for not more than 15 minutes in a day, and you should develop new hobbies, spend time with your kids, develop or do some activities which you have not done it and which you were probably longing for that activities. This is the way I think you should be keeping your mental health, and obviously everybody should be keeping in touch with each other through digital media, especially the elderly ones, because we think that elderly people are very stable, they do not need any mental support. I do think these are the people who should be, at least one family member should spend some quality time with them.
Some people even recommend yoga therapy. So do you think it is really useful?
Actually, yoga is good for your immunity, for your feeling of well-being. It may not protect you against corona, but as such yoga is good, it should be done. But in the current times, make sure that you do all breathing exercises, yoga in an open environment, or at least maintaining social distancing from others, because during forceful breathing you can generate good amount of aerosols. And if you are an asymptomatic person who is carrying COVID-19 infection, you may not be infected or you may not have symptoms, but the other person can have it. So do yoga, but keeping in mind that it should be done in a proper place.
So we've spoken about elderly's mental health. What about the kids? Since the schools are closed, colleges are closed, we don't see them opening anytime in near future. How to keep kids healthy and occupied and not to have them the mental issue?
Yes, the schools are closed for the last 3 to 4 months. Probably for another 2 to 3 months they will remain closed. It is very, very important to keep them informed about COVID. The information should be passed on from the parents and not COVID media, because they should be getting the right information. One thing. Second thing, parents should follow all the rules and regulations, and they should be disciplined in taking the precautions. Kids will listen only if you follow the precautionary measures. Third is spending quality time with them, keeping them busy with some activities.
So here I would like to
And-
just point out that
Yeah.
they should have a schedule at home also. Kids
Yes.
should have a schedule at home, time to time schedule.
Yes, they should be having online education. Yes, they should be having online education. They should be allowed to keep in touch with their friends through digital media. Yes, but obviously make sure that do not spend too much time using gadgets. Otherwise, they will get habituated to these gadgets. And obviously, there are advantages of the current science and technology, but there are disadvantages, especially for the kids too.
So a very small child, if you have to carry that child traveling, then he may not prefer to put on a mask.
First of all, avoid taking your kids outside your home right now. Second thing, obviously, if you have kids which are smaller than 3 years, probably do not use a mask, because there are at times these masks do suffocate yourself. You may feel it, but the kids may not be able to say it. So a kid less than 3 years of age, you should not use a mask. At the same time, make sure if it is necessary, then only take the kid of 3 years of age, or for that matter even an elderly kid more than 3 years also, you should take them only if it is required. Otherwise better stay at home, stay healthy, stay safe.
Sir, any guidelines for shopkeepers? What are the precautions they should take? Because they are exchanging money with customers.
As such, everybody for all precautionary measures are same. For shopkeepers, obviously they are in a closed environment. So what should they do? They should not allow everybody to come in the shop. They should deliver the grocery items or any other things outside the shop. One thing. Second thing, maintaining social distancing at the time of shopping, or if the people are there properly, should be there. Obviously using mask, very, very important. And as such, notes and newspaper, do not spread it. But some people are still using the saliva to count the notes. So yes, if you are using notes, better either keep them aside for minimum 48 hours, or use them iron on both sides of the notes. Use hot iron to sterilize them.
So are there any restricted food and drink if you have a COVID positive?
As such, no. You can have everything. A COVID patient can eat everything, can drink everything except alcohol.
No, it's not like cold or sweet.
If you are allergic to cold water, you should not have it. If you are not allergic to cold water, you can have it, but better to avoid in this current situation, because even if you get a mild sore throat, then obviously you will be having a panic-like situation.
This oximeter हो गया.
It's done.
Only eye protection.
I know that.
Eye protection is necessary because the virus cannot penetrate through skin. Rest everything it can penetrate through eyes, through nose, through mouth, it can penetrate through this. But obviously mouth and nose are more important, but eyes should be taken care of. That is the reason, if you are in such a situation that you have to deal with persons which are less than 2 meters especially, you should be using a mask, and over above that mask you can use a face shield so that your eyes are protected.
Sir, one more question I have. Can I catch COVID-19 from my pet or other animals?
Well, no. You cannot get COVID-19 from your pet. In fact, it can be other way around. Your pet may get infected from you. That is the reason, if you are a COVID patient, the pet should be kept away.
And how about home sanitization? Especially under normal conditions, and the other one if someone has been home quarantined.
It's better that you keep your house clean. You should clean your floors with soap and water. And if you are a healthcare worker, or if somebody at home is infected, after using soap and water for floors, you can use bleach to clean the floors. If somebody at home is infected, then you should divide the things into two parts: metallic items and non-metallic items. All non-metallic items with the COVID patient at home should be cleaned with bleach, and all metallic items you should use soap and water or sanitizer to clean the metallic items.
What will be your final message to the viewers?
Just take all precautions, one thing. And a doctor can save a life, but right now you can save life of others and doctors too. Because for doctors, this may last for another 2 years. The recurrent exposure of them with COVID patients, and obviously they are dealing with sick patients, so their quantum of exposure is also high. The rate of complications or the mortality is also high. So I'll request all people to take precautions for you, yourself, your family members, and you can do one favor to the doctors in return for whatever they are doing. Corona warriors, be it doctors, nurses, technicians, all paramedical staffs who have worked day in and day out in this pandemic should be respected for whatever they are doing. It is for you, the general public. They are sacrificing their lives, their family support also, because usually doctors who do a COVID duty do not stay at home with the family members. They stay separately because they are in doubt that I'll be the person transmitting the infection to my family members. So usually they have a 7-day duty, 7 day off. After 7 day off, they again are on duty, and this they are away from their families just to make you and your kids, your family members healthy. So I think please respect doctors, staff, nurses, technicians, paramedical staff, policemen, and follow all the guidelines given by the health department. Do it as a duty towards the nation. Be safe, stay healthy, and save a life of a doctor. Thank you.